Now, I haven't made a comprehensive list of the Arkham games and my rankings for them in a while, and honestly, I've been wanting to make a tier list video in a very long time. I've never made one, and I think that this is the perfect opportunity to do it. I have all of the Arkham games. There might be one that you guys might be thinking I'm missing, but I'm gonna pop it up here and it's gonna be super random, but let's go ahead and do it. You see the list, you see the tiers, let's fucking go ahead and go off with number 1, which is Arkham Underworld. What the fuck was this shit? The rules here are basically any Arkham game is up for grabs. Any game that promotes itself as an Arkham game or connected to the Arkham universe is up for grabs. Sorry, I have to do it. It might not be canonically connected, but it's still promotionally connected, and that still counts as my tier list. So Arkham Underworld, yeah, that's part of the fucking list. F tier, obviously. And guess what? I got another one too. Arkham City Lockdown, which was also a fucking phone game. I'm pretty sure both of these are phone games. Yeah, they're F tier. Sorry, we can't put fucking Raid Shadow Legends above Arkham City. That's just not how logic works, you know? We gotta put these in a very bottom tier list, and they are incredibly bottom tier. The next one is actually gonna probably be a little bit confusing for some people. I'm putting Blackgate, Arkham Origins Blackgate, up in C tier. I think that it's actually a genuinely decent game, and while I haven't played it, I watched it and it looks pretty fun, even though it kind of breaks a few of the fucking continuity things about Arkham. A lot of these past games kind of do, you know, like Arkham Origins and Arkham Origins Blackgate. The canon kind of gets a little shifted sometimes, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but that game certainly has to be right there at C tier. It's definitely not really the best. It's a side scroller, and I think that is actually pretty interesting to do with the Arkham franchise, and I honestly wish they kind of did that of higher quality in the future sometime. That would be really, really fun to see, like some type of retroactive Batman game that does a side scroller. Like, this could be a very good foundation for that type of game, and I would love to see if they could expand upon this type of thing, but for the most part, compared to all these other games, it's C tier. It's very, very mid. The next one is actually Batman Arkham VR, and I'm putting that in B tier. The potential for like a VR Batman game is so freaking badass. I would love to play a full like 6-hour, 7-hour game of just Batman VR. I would literally buy a VR system just to play like an 8-hour Batman game. And I think that right there is a good foundation for a future Batman game in VR. It's a decent story. It kind of shows like the prelims to Arkham Knight and what Batman's going through psychologically, which is very interesting. And that story alone is really cool, seeing Nightwing die and basically having Batman wake up. Like, it's a fucking trip, and I would love to experience that in VR. I might even buy a VR just for it. I got the money for it. But man, I would love to see more of that in the future, and something more creative with Batman, of course, in the near future for VR. A lot of people are going to be pissed. I'm putting Batman Arkham Origins in B tier, right next to the VR. You know, Batman Arkham Origins is a great game. I think that it's incredibly overrated now, and everybody says it's underrated, but that's not how underrated things work. Arkham Origins is overrated at this point, and the fact that people think that it's not is just fucking ridiculous. Guys, it has good gameplay, has good boss battles, but let's just be real. The story, everything about it, kind of just falls flat, breaks a lot of continuity things. It's just basically a cheap knockoff of Arkham. Oh man, I couldn't hold on to it. I'm sorry. I'm putting it into A tier. Don't worry. I bet I probably got some people already clicking off and being mad and whatnot, but it'll be in the A tier. I do think that the gameplay is on par with, of course, all the other Arkham games, and even the story is pretty decent too. You know, some people can argue that it is one of the best stories for the Arkham games, and Batman has like kind of an arc in this game compared to all the other games. But I genuinely think that, you know, it's very overrated now. People think that it's underrated and people don't give it enough appreciation, but oh my god, bro, you go on Twitter, type in Batman Arkham Origins, you're gonna see everybody loves it. What the fuck are they talking about? This is some underrated masterpiece. Stop it, guys. It's ridiculous. And I think that it's great, right? The fact that they made this game in like 2 years, basically, WB Montreal, it's like their first official game. Like, that's very impressive, like genuinely impressive. But you know, what they really did was just take most of Arkham City, build a little sprinkle of new things in there, and just had somebody else make the cutscenes. Like, there's a lot of work that was done for this game, right? But I mean, realistically, it isn't on par with all those other games in terms of writing, in terms of story, and I just think that the city is bare when you really get into it. In the story, like, it's not the most replayable, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that I would rather skip over in that game compared to the other games. So yeah, it's personal preference. Honestly, these next few, like, they're all a toss-up, so I'm not bashing one to put one over, but I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, Arkham Origins is bottom A tier, in my opinion. All right, let's go on to the next one. It's Arkham Asylum, the one that started it all. Like, you gotta put it over Arkham Origins. Like, without Arkham Asylum, there would be no Arkham Origins. And I personally think that this is a genuinely incredible game. Like, just from start to finish, the story is very immersive, and the atmosphere is probably the best out of all the Arkham games. And I really think that they hit fucking lightning in a bottle, which is just insane. And the fact that they did that like 4 times in a row is impressive. You know, the start of it all. It was the foundation. So you gotta really do give it its props. For this one, it's kind of weird because I did put Arkham Knight above Arkham Asylum. It was, you know, it's high A tier. Both of them are kind of high A tier. Again, it's a toss-up between the 4. But I genuinely believe that Arkham Knight has the most replayable value. Like, you could go back and the gameplay's fun. You like it or not, the Batmobile riding around in that, it's incredibly fun. The world is fucking incredibly beautiful. Like, there's a lot here, and you know, it's really a toss-up between S tier and high A tier, because I think that this game is just, I probably put the most hours into this game out of all the other Arkham games, even though I have them on the same console. So, genuinely speaking, you know, it's a very addicting game when you really get the flow down and you just want to keep replaying it. Like, even with the story beats that are kind of iffy, like I love playing this game over and over again, even if the story is fucking wonky sometimes. And I have to say it, Arkham City, it's the top of the list. Like, the gameplay, the flow of the gameplay, I think is a lot better than Arkham Knight and better than Arkham Asylum. It's hard to explain, but the way you move feels a lot more, I don't want to say realistic, because none of what Batman does in these games is remotely realistic, but it feels a lot more grounded and a lot more flowy. Like, you flow with the gameplay a lot better than all these other games. With Arkham Asylum, sometimes it's too slow. With Arkham Knight, sometimes it's too fast. Even with Arkham Origins, sometimes it gets a little too fast there. So there are many things within those games that kind of throw me off of the combat, but when I play Arkham City, man, I feel fucking amazing. I think that that's the most combat immersive game, where you just feel like you're fucking Batman just kicking ass. And even the story too, I think that they incorporate the villains within the story a lot better than any of the other games, even the ones that's based on the 8 assassins coming after you. I personally think that they did the villains in Arkham City a lot better. And while Batman's character isn't necessarily the best, right, he's almost stone-faced in many cases, I like that type of stoic character where he's already 8 years deep. He's used to this type of shit, and honestly, it's really fun to see some of his deadpan humor moments. So I genuinely like this game, and I love this game more than all the other Arkham games. I can probably go back and play this over and over again. I think that the story is the best in terms of presentation. Like, Arkham Origins did a good job with all of those cutscenes and whatnot, but man, Arkham City, like, I just don't know how to explain it. Like, there's something different about that game, and you know, people are gonna be like, oh, you're hyping this shit up. Like, yeah, I am, and it's great. So I'm putting that on high S tier. It's better than all the other Arkham games. If you don't like it, you could cry about it, but you can tell me your tier list in the comments below. I want to know your guys' thoughts about mine, and yeah, go ahead and tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.